And this is what I'd like to share with you. And we call them the 5 transformation imperatives. There's 5 ingredients that go into it. Leadership, technology, mindset, trust, and speed. And these are more than just additive ingredients, they're multiplicative. So it's not like just on a scale from 1 to 10, add them up, it adds up to 50. It's multiplicative. It's 10 to the 5th power. It's 100,000 magnitude of power. Now, the interesting thing about being multiplicative is if you're 0 in any one of these, you're 0 on the whole shooting match. So you got to operate in all dimensions. Now, I want to show you some examples what we're talking about. First one, let's turn to leadership. Now look at this. This is Mike Corbett. He's the CEO of Citicorp. He's got that big building across the street. And now, you think that guy would be in fits. Well, I can tell you, 3 months ago, I had a 2-hour lunch with him in San Francisco. And you know what? He wasn't in fits. He's probably about the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. I mean, and here's what he did. He openly talked about his challenges. And he not only to me, but to his employees, but also on the record to the outside world that 1/3 of the retail banking employees will no longer exist 5 years from now. We got to do something about it. And where he comes from is we got to challenge the status quo, and he's incredible at inspiring a shared vision. All the way down to individual use cases. That's what, that typifies his command of his business. And I was so blown away in this 2-hour lunch. I asked him, I said, hey, can you do a video for me? We're going over to London. And he goes, yeah, I never do this. I can't, man. I'm a CEO of Citicorp, but I believe in the digital transformation so much and DocuSign's contribution to what we're doing at Citicorp that I'd be more than happy to. And one of the things I love about Mike is he uses technology as a catalyst, and he aligns tightly with his partners. So let's look at another example in terms of the second ingredient in the transformation imperatives. This is Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft. And I'll tell you what I love about what Microsoft does is they truly model the way. They've been a customer for DocuSign for coming up on 10 years now. They've rolled out 200 use cases in 150 countries. And they started long ago on their initiative, their paperless initiative. They call it Digitopia. And this relationship has gone so deep that they've integrated us into Office. So now we have exposure to 1 billion Office customers, seamless experience. They've even recently, as part of the Microsoft family benefit, given a personal copy of DocuSign to each one of their employees. And that's fantastic because if you onboard yourself individually, you're going to help go look for some use cases inside the corporation. And I think as many of you know, also recently, Microsoft came back and invested in DocuSign, so they're an equity shareholder. How would you like Tim Hodges right there, the CEO of Deutsche Telekom? I'll tell you what, I love this guy. I told him, he is a German version of a Silicon Valley CEO. And he typifies having this kind of a mindset. And in addition to being the CEO of Deutsche Telekom, he's the chairman of the board of T-Mobile, which is a huge disruptor in the States. They're putting AT&T and Verizon on their heels. He's also a board member of British Telecom. So he's right there with 2 of the most powerful companies in Europe or on the planet. And the thing I like about Tim is his Teutonic way of thinking. It's simplify everything. Get rid of the paper. And I had a great honor because in January, he brought together his top 1,000 leaders in Bonn. He does it once a year. One day, they're focused on transferring. He goes, Keith, I would like you to be the first outside speaker we've ever had at one of these meetings because we want to use DocuSign as a case study in terms of our digital transformation, and their customers as well. So he introduced me, and he said, look, I just got back from a T-Mobile board meeting a few months ago, and the board and the CEO, John Lynch, said, we could not have rolled out the Apple VI without DocuSign. Because you see, we paid $25 million for DocuSign to roll out to our 3,000 retail stores. We saved 600 million pieces of paper, put $200 million to our bottom line, and reduced the average sign-up time by less than half. In some of the retail stores, from 58 minutes to 8 minutes. I mean, how nice was that? That's a great introduction. I got a chance to speak after that. And then the guy following me was the COO of T-Mobile. And he said, hey, everything he said is true. We're just at the beginning of the partnership. And in front of 1,000 people in the old Parliament building of West Germany in Bonn, he goes, I'd like you to stand up and shake your hand. Now, that was a partnership. And then what I really loved was Tim giving his final charge to his top 1,000 leaders. And he said, in order to steer this ship, it has to be moving. And the way you get it moving is with quick wins. And DocuSign is our case study in quick wins. And I love that. And that's the other thing about the mindset of Tim Hodges. He learns from everybody. He is like a Silicon Valley guy, because we say, you know, if you learn from one, it's plagiarism. If you learn from more than one, it's market research. You know, the thing I love about Tim is he truly articulates crystal clearly that fourth ingredient, and that's trust. In terms of trust is the basis of every relationship, whether it's personal, business, no matter what it is. And at DocuSign, we are, if you would ask me, how do you sum up DocuSign in one word? What business are we in? We are in the trust business. And we are maniacally focused on providing a trusted service to our customers on the DocuSign Global Trust Network. That's what it's all about. And you know, sometimes we don't take ourselves seriously, but when it comes to trust, it's sacrosanct. Especially when our customers are involved in their digital transformations, and especially when they're being disrupted. Trust is essential. Trust is key for your partners, your employees, your leaders, and your shareholders. Because, as we all know, lurking in the shadows are these disruptors. And beware, because they're ready to cause you fits. And you know what? Here's how you can kind of see what's going on. And when you hear in your company, we can't challenge the status quo, that would be challenging the status quo. Or when you hear, we're working on big data, artificial intelligence, BI, all that stuff, we don't have time for quick wins. We don't have time to get rid of paper. This DTM thing, we can do it next year. Beware, you're about ready to have a case that fits. And for those of you who are doing something about it, you know the rules of the jungle have changed, because it is all about speed. Our fifth key ingredient. And the ultimate goal is to satisfy customer needs faster and better than your competitors, especially if they're disruptors. And speed now is that #1 currency in business today. It's all about momentum. And the big no longer eat the small. It's the fast that's going to eat the slow.